Hi, this is Lucy, and today I want to talk about new things that you can do with octagons and different ways you can use them. A couple of years ago I wanted a small circle, so I came up with the idea of building an octagon using foundations that were offset by 3/4. If you do not have this blueprint, I will put links down below. There is one you can make if you have catwalks and one you can make without catwalks, whichever is easiest for you. And I do use this blueprint quite a lot, and I tried a few years ago when I built the tiny towers in the mire to snap them together, and I couldn't do it. However, things have changed with the update. These octagons are snapped together, and you will notice that the reason is because I'm not using foundations. I am using upper floors and walls. I have realised as I've been building in the last few weeks that in a lot of cases it is actually easier to do this than use foundations, and I've always liked these wooden floors. So I will show you how I did this. So this is a simple octagon blueprint, and what I realised is you do not need the foundations in the blueprint. If you're making this blueprint for the first time, you need the foundations on the outside, and you need to turn the walls so that they are facing inwards. But when you get to that point, just blueprint the walls. And if you have this, place it and just blueprint the walls. You will then have this blueprint. You can place this blueprint anywhere. You could place it up here, as long as it's within the camp area. You can have it floating in the middle of the air. The game doesn't care anymore. But if you're building the kind of builds that I build, you don't tend to build many floating camps. I have done a few. And one of the things that used to frustrate me with the old blueprint, and this would apply to large circles as well, is having the ability to place it where you want. Now with a large circle, what I tend to do now is that the blueprint I use is one with a hole in the middle. So I place a foundation and I will snap that blueprint over. But you can now do the same thing with this small blueprint. You can place a foundation where you want. And then you can snap this blueprint to a foundation or an upper floor. If it doesn't want to snap initially, I do tend to find that rotating it helps. So there. It's now snapped to this foundation. Now the first thing I want to do, because I'm going to use floors, is put the middle one in. I'm going to temporarily place another foundation behind. This is if you're using catwalks. I'll show you how to do it without catwalks in a moment. Place a half catwalk and then a quarter catwalk. And you can just snap your upper floor onto that. That is the middle one. To place the rest, just simply go around and snap them under the doorways. I don't even think these have to be doorways anymore, but all of my blueprints contain doorways, and so they can be. It takes practice. Just persevere. They will try and snap everywhere because there are so many snapping points. Just go around and do that. Right, you won't get this one in here with this foundation here, so take that foundation out. We don't need it anymore. to make it look like it's not floating and it has foundations, you can just go around and snap half walls underneath. Be aware, if your floors are too low, you might not get these under. However, as someone pointed out, you can go under the map. If going under the map is something that you're easy with and it's not intimidating, then by all means try it. It's up to you. I have tested it. It does work. I was worried about the not visible thing affecting it, but it doesn't seem to. So I want to snap two of these together. I am just going to place another floor. And we can now snap. You may have noticed as I've been doing this, there's potential for lots of different things here, because you can snap it in different places to create all sorts of shapes. You can also snap it on top to make an easy tower if you want to do it quickly. Somebody did point that out in my Solar Punk farm video, but that wouldn't have worked for that one because it was mostly half walls so that I could put those supports in, so it would have actually hindered you, but there we go. So we can, if it behaves, snap this one on here. As I said, just rotate it till it goes in the correct position, and you now have two. To get the middle one in, if you do not have catwalks, place a half floor here. If you're doing this on a single wall, bear in mind that you will need something behind it to be able to snap this. This wall here is facing inwards, so I can snap it on. Place a full floor. Grab a pillar, a full pillar. If you're offsetting without catwalks, it's worth bearing in mind that this is a quarter, this is a half, and this is 3/4. Now, you cannot snap this side of the pillar, but if you snap that side, make sure the pillar is in the middle. Snap this floor to this floor. We can now get rid of the pillar and that. And then we can just finish up as before by just adding these floors. Right, that one's going to be a pain. Right, let's try this one. Trying to rush, partly because my chair has come off its rug and is rolling away from my PC and my microphone. There we go. I also realised you can use parts of this blueprint as well. Not going to use the foundation, just going to place 3 floors like so. I'm going to place a half on the middle one here. Now this is a blueprint of just 3 of these walls. If you place it here, you can snap this on to create a bay, but I will show you something quickly. If you place it like this, those walls here will snap in. So when you're doing this, if you've already placed these could be foundations, you can do it with foundations or upper floors. Move them temporarily out of the way, place this, and then you can snap your floors back in. And to fill in the gaps, we just need half floors, which will snap in. There we go. Like so. I came up with this idea recently because I wanted a sort of semicircular balcony. The other thing I've noticed, you may have noticed that there was a half porch or half step, is if you place walls like this, you can overlap these walls to create this effect here, so it looks continuous. So I think this has a lot of potential. Feel free to experiment. I mean, all of the overlapping octagons, I would love to, I mean, you could do 4. If you did 4, you would have a square in the middle here. I'd like to do 8, then you'd have another octagon in the middle, but I don't think, which would make 9 octagons, but I don't actually think we have the camp budget for that. So I hope you found this useful. I hope you experiment with this. I think going forward I am just going to use this ring as my octagon blueprint. The one thing I will add quickly is foundations. Can you put foundations in here? And the answer is sort of. What you can do is you can make every other one a foundation. The foundations will overlap to a certain extent now, but for some reason I could not get, I'll show you in a sec. Could not get a foundation next to, so if we take this one out and try and put a foundation in there, it will not go in, it's red. So I have actually done the floor on my second octagon on the camp that I've just finished building like this. I don't think it looks wrong. It's an interesting effect. So you can use foundations, but not exclusively, if that makes sense. You will have to alternate it with upper floors. So, but I think that this ring blueprint has a lot more flexibility and usability than the original blueprint, so I will be using this from now on. So I hope that all made sense. I hope you have fun with it. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.